back to the Academy students. Today we're completely dismantling, optimizing and rewriting the entire playbook for one of the most mechanically misunderstood frames in the history of the Origin systems, Nidus Prime. For years the mainstream meta-slop narrative has trapped this frame in a completely stagnant ancient box. The community tells you that Nidus is exclusively a stationary camp in a corner frame who has to spam his baseline stomp for 20 minutes just to build a handful of mutation stacks before he can even think about playing the game. They tell you that in a high velocity, high APM modern sandbox, he's simply too slow, too rigid, and completely irrelevant compared to the modern automated nuke options. I'm here to tell you that that is an absolute baseline illusion. Today, we're exploiting raw underlying engine math, advanced arcane routing, and a massive set of quality of life updates to transform Nidus Prime into an aggressive, unkillable, high-speed kinetic force that effortlessly tears through level cap steel path content. We are not running budget tier setups, and we are certainly not copy-pasting lazy recruitment chat requirements. We are here for pure theory crafting logic. Open your notebooks and check the blueprint. The Academy is officially in session. Before we could deploy our three distinct tactical configurations, we must construct the core engine that fuels Nidus' entire casting loop. By completely bypassing ability efficiency, we're running a heavy negative efficiency penalty of minus 45% from a max rank blind rage mod, and we're going to make that penalty completely unnoticeable through a luxury investment of 5 Tauforged Archon Shards. Pillar 1 and 2 Tauforged Violet Archon Shard configuration for the equilibrium effect. This yields a massive 30% energy conversion from Health Orbs and vice versa. When mapped directly alongside our companion ecosystems, this completely overrides our negative efficiency constraints, turning every single job on the battlefield into a massive injection of raw power. But it's not just 30%, it's actually 60% because it's 2, not just 1. Pillar 3 is 1 Tauforged Crimson Archon Shard dedicated to ability duration, pushing a flat plus 15% uptime directly into our active buff windows. This directly extends the operational parameters of Parasitic Link, Roar, and Ravenous, eliminating dangerous downtime in the middle of a high-density level gap fire fights. And we are running 170 duration, as you can see. And Pillar 4 is 1 Tauforged Azure Archon Shard, ejecting plus 255 flat armor straight into a base pool. This ensures that our resting defensive stats sit comfortably above the critical mathematical thresholds required to activate our advanced arcane damage gates. And Pillar 5, 1 Tauforged Amber Archon Shard, granting a massive plus 7.5% bonus to casting speed. This completely erases a clunky dangerous animation locks, letting you drop Larva, hook targets, and deploy buffs in a single fluid motion. Why are we investing this heavily into our baseline, you might be wondering? Because of the massive base stat updates. Nidus Prime base health pool has scaled significantly up to 925. When you map umbral scaling metrics into elevated foundation like that, your effective survival potential climbs exponentially before you can even modify a single ability slot. Let's open our first blueprint, the Symbiotic Level Cap Titan. This setup completely discards its old stationary playstyle, transforming Nidus into a mobile health tank that leverages advanced game engine parameters to achieve functional immortality. First, we're utilizing the helmet system to subsume Raw directly over his 4th ability slot, granting us a massive, clean, multiplicative damage enhancement across our entire layout. Now, look at the defensive math on screen. We're deploying a highly advanced interaction, the Arcane Persistent damage gate. Arcane Persistence completely strips away your shields, which we would normally leave other frames incredibly vulnerable. However, as long as your baseline armor values remain locked above 700 threshold, this arcane enforces a hard mechanical restriction on the game engine. You cannot take more than 500 damage per second from any source, regardless of enemy level scaling. And because Nidus' baseline health pool sits at 925 post-rework, mapping Umbral Intensify and Berserk Vitality onto this configuration scales your health pool. It's a massive tank. At damage cap of 500 per second, since level cap enemies into minor annoyances and giving you a massive defensive cushion. And if you're wondering what is the math, well, here's the math right here on screen. To fuel this engine, we introduced Arcane Battery as well, which grants us plus 0.30 maximum energy point of armor. By pairing our Tauforged Archon Shards with health conversion for a massive plus 1350 armor alongside a huge scaling multipliers of the Mecha Pulse setup, our massive armor value soars into the thousands. It soars into the thousands. This stretches our maximum energy reserve out to massive proportions, allowing you to completely ignore the efficiency penalties of blind range and casting continuously without a care in the world. But we don't stop there. The true beauty of this setup lies in our companion and weapon integration. We are pairing Nidus with the Pharaoh Protocyte and the Coda Hirudo melee weapon. We are using the Paris Prime primarily uh, as a purely passive statistic, allowing Hunter Synergy to share a 30% of its highest critical chance directly down your companion's claws. And here's the build for my Paris Prime. For those that are wondering, we're using the Bissell Bell Arcman mod from Paris Prime that you can purchase from Deimos from Father. And as you can see, with massive status chance pool. And then here is the build for the companion. And then here is the setup for the Pharaoh claws. And then here is the build for my Coda Hirudo, and our valence bonus is 60% electricity, and here's the build for that. Now, your pet swipes into the enemy grouped up by Larva using Shock and Claws modded to the insane 395.5% status chance, which is just insane. This guarantees a consistent electricity status proc across the pile, which apparently triggers Archon Stretch that's modded onto our Nidus Prime, as you can see on screen. That will deliver a constant passive plus 2 energy per second regeneration stream. When you swing into that crowd with the combo scaling Coda Hirudo running Bride Rush and Weeping Wounds, you land orange and red critical hits effortlessly. Every single critical hit triggers the weapon's unique invigoration strat. If you want to know what it is, it says here. Granting you 5% lifesteal and staking a massive plus 25% maximum health multiplier. Any minor damage that manages to tick past your 500 damage cap is instantly healed back to maximum in a single fluid slice. For our second setup, we're completely removing the restrictions of the Mega set to transform Nidus into a high-speed map-clearing caster, the Larva Burst Chain Reaction Nuke. We are replacing his fourth ability with Hammer's Marked for Death and sliding the Larva Burst Augment right alongside Archon Continuity to construct an incredible potent armor-stripping nuke engine. This configuration capitalizes heavily on a massive quality of life update to Nidus core code, the full Larva Recast Revolution. Previously, when a single enemy got stuck behind a railing, an elevator door, or a wall, or whatever the case might be, Larva stayed open for its entire duration, completely locking you out of the kit and halting your momentum. Post-Rework, Larva is now completely recastable, meaning deploying a second instance instantly dismisses the power 1. This completely eliminates all of the clunkiness from his kit, allowing you to bullet jump through tile sets, pull entire hallways into a single point, detonate them manually, and immediately drop another one without waiting for timers. And here is the full calculation works. Archon Continuity states that any ability dealing toxin damage will also automatically apply corrosive status procs. And your Lava Burst Augment deals a massive flat toxin damage that scales directly with the 258% ability strength. That exact second you manually detonate that crowd, every single enemy caught inside of the blast zone is instantly force corrosive status proc, stripping away the armored defenses and leaving them highly vulnerable to the secondary blast wave. By casting Mark for Death on the central target right before the detonation, you duplicate the next instance of incoming damage directly to everyone in the surrounding area. The combined toxin explosions strikes everyone simultaneously. The central marked target makes a catastrophic damage against their stripped defenses, and that massive aerial value is multiplied outward by your high ability strength, causing a room-wide chain reaction that wipes the entire tile instantly. For survival, we'll swap out our aura mod for physique for more health, mapping into his increased base health to secure a massive resting health pool, even without the Mecha set health conversion, and your Zero shot keeps your armor value locked well over the 700 armor threshold, keeping your Arcane Persistence and Arcane Battery operating at full capacity. Any heavy Eximus units that manages to survive the initial explosion are easily cleaned up with your Coda Hurdu by running melee influence, of course. A single critical hit spreads the massive electricity damage over time procs across the remaining targets, triggering Arcane Stretch to keep your energy tank filled to the brim. Pitch this with your friends as the ultimate aggressive, fast-paced Nidus setup. Our final configuration is an absolute masterpiece of the thematic min-maxing true infested strain Overlord. This framework completely bypasses the helmet system, so you lean entirely into Nidus Prime native kit, constructing a fully automated biological engine by unlocking a full 4-piece strain set bonus across Nidus. Your helmet charger and the Curricular re-transform what used to be a passive pet setup into a high-tier red crit room-clearing powerhouse. The timing of this build is incredible, because Digital Extremes has quietly updated the core native mechanics, recasting Ravenous while standing on your infested carpet now manually detonates your active maggots harden. Your full strain mod ensures your helmet charger is constantly growing giant volatile cysts that burst into additional maggots on their own. These extra minions don't just directly distract your targets, they systematically scale your melee critical damage by an incredible plus 160%. And here is the math on screen. And when you manually trigger the maggot explosions, recasting Ravenous, they drop a massive wave of Health Orbs across the tile, and these orbs are instantly captured by your two Tauforged Archon Shards, running the Equilibrium effect, converting them into a massive stream of raw energy. This completely bypasses the heavy minus 45% penalty from Blind Rage, keeping energy tank filled to the brim. Your Tauforged Crimson Shards keeps your parasitic link tethered tightly to your pet, while your Tauforged Azure Shard keeps your armor valves well above the past 700 threshold to keep up defenses. Arcane's fully online. This is entirely a self-contained automated biological ecosystem that delivers absolute level cap dominance without using nothing but Nidus' native abilities. So just like as before, we're using the Paris Prime as a stat stick. Here's the Curricular build. The only thing that we changed is we swapped out Gladiator Might for Strain Infection. Here is the build for the charger setup that I have. And then here is the charger helmet charger, whatever. Here's the setup. And here's the claws, as you can see on the screen. And because we have electricity on our helmet claws, we're also still proccing Archon Stretch. So we're still getting energy consistently, no matter what. Three entirely distinct high optimized level cap configurations that prove Nidus is an absolute force in the modern sandbox, where you look past standard meta-slop. You have a mobile level cap titan, high speed chain reactor caster, and a fully automated biological strain overlord. Stop blindly copying and pasting lazy builds from recruitment chat and start mastering the underlying math of the game engine. Once you understand these mechanics interact, the meta becomes whatever you want it to be. Make sure to drop a comment below letting me know which specific configurations you are taking into the laboratory first when the update drops this Wednesday, which is today, and join our Discord community to share your mod formats with fellow legends. Get your configurations locked, prepare your tools, and enjoy a short recess. Class is officially dismissed. I'll see you in the next lesson.